Hey, this is Alex Head, founder of Subtext Radio.
This is Subtext.
Please go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps us to reach new audiences and promote the artists that we work with. Hit like and hit subscribe. Welcome to another broadcast from Subtext Radio. This is going to be the 2022 edition. It's been a quiet year from our side, a loud as fuck year from everyone else. It's been a lot of rearranging. There's been a few changes at the station. Emily Gale has moved on to plough her own radio platform in Cork, at Cork University there. That's incredibly exciting. We're sad to see you go, but we're bloody glad that we're still in touch and looking forward to hearing what comes out of that. Nathan Gray has also moved on to new pastures at Kashmir Radio. You can catch the Weirding module there, where he is basically just getting better from strength to strength. Again, sad times, my friend, but we are in different countries now, so that's the basic material circumstance for all this. Subtext, itinerant as it is, has more or less found a home in Bristol, United Kingdom. We wanted to have front row seats for the decline of the British system as it stands, not to be voyeuristic, but to participate, to try and get more involved, to try and be more engaged in active society than perhaps we felt that we could or that we wanted to in Germany. There's lots of reasons for that. I'm not going to go into it. This is not a show. This is an introduction. We are so excited today to have guest shows coming from people. We're looking forward to work from Fabian Soul. We've got Sailing Yong with Anna Kostreva that are going to get super deep into it, with the connections between architecture and Hermeticism. Of course, we got 7 hours of broadcasting. This is going to be amazing. We've got Chris Peck, we've got Tamsin Elliott, who is also here with us in Bristol. We've got a very special show with Yared Yates Sexton, not least because it's my show. And we have work from Sam Walsh, who is a print and audio journalist, we're calling it. Also based here in Bristol, and he's been a great friend since we met this summer. We've got a new show from Bex Birch. Man, you guys get spoilt. We have a continued exchange between Shanti, Suki, Osman and myself. That's going under ear to ear, but don't worry, Off Air Gems will be back next year. Thanks again to Threads Radio. As always, you can find our work archived at subtextradio.net. And you can find everything on the Threads Radio Mixcloud and the Threads Radio and Subtext Radio SoundCloud accounts. Thank you to all the listeners. Thanks to everyone that tunes in. It means tons to us. And we hope you have a lovely day of listening and a wonderful new year.
It's off air gems. It's like kind of, like a clip, like, those shows where they're like, hey, they can look back and see how the show's been doing.
Okay.
How two protagonists have moved on. So we just thought we'd do like an interview show. Like when you're watching a series, then suddenly it does like a kind of, it's almost as bad as a clip show, but it's not.
It's like a bloopers of hindsight. Like a kind of a hindsight extra show. Yeah, I don't know. I hate describing it while we're doing it. It's really difficult. But is this an off-air gems then? Because we talked about ear to ear.
This is ear to ear. This is one edition ear to ear. Off-air gems comes back.
Oh, it comes back. Okay, good. Okay, it's good that we do our laundry in public. But okay, yeah.
How is it going in this style?
We've been very lucky. We've got a place that's affordable and it's on top floor, and we've got lots of light. And we've got a massive tidal river that comes in and out every day right in front of us. And people obviously are lovely. And there's a whole sort of scene, And we've managed to create an architectural design company, which is doing all right. It's doing all right. It's not quite enough, but we've only done it for 6 months. So there's light at the other end of the financial year, or like maybe the end of next year's financial year, realistically. And it's been possible to integrate the research from my book into the architectural design company, which is like cool, man, because I was having a massive identity crisis, as one might, leaving one's audience behind. And you've also been dealing with moving and dragging your practice about the place. Is that right?
Basically, what I've done is, from October until like probably December, probably January, rather than commuting from Berlin to Oldenburg, which is where my university job is, right. I've been commuting from Derby to Oldenburg, because me and my new boyfriend, well, we're not really new anymore, it's almost a year, we just wanted to be together, because it's like, love in the first degree.
Fuck yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, man.
We wanted to be together, and like he's divorced and he's got kids, so it's like not so easy for him to always come to Berlin, but he's been managing it all right, and the kids are a bit older, which is good. Yeah. And that's all been fine. So we just decided, I decided in June, that's what I want to do when the new semester starts, because I didn't like not being with him. Yeah, it's been amazing. Really awesome being with him, and it's just been it's been a dream. It's been so nice. So basically, I decided to take all my books to Oldenburg, because that's the one place I'm always going to go to, because it's where I work. Yeah, logical. So my office is full of all my books. So then over Christmas, I'm like, where's my books at?
Yeah, I know. And that...
You know though, don't you?
I do know, because that's the abmelden oder nicht abmelden question is right there. It's like, I'm traveling with a cut down yoga mat, so that I can do my stretches in the morning. And there are all kind of like weird shifting sands going on underneath all of that. And people as well, not even to mention the people who are like super confused, and you're trying to maintain relationships, but you're trying to maintain friendships as well. And that's really, in a way, I have to say it's been good. It's been nice to be like, oh yeah, no, I totally love these people. I'm not in the same city as them anymore, but I really, really understand what it was that I was getting from them, and let's keep that going. And we've been so lucky to have someone in our apartment who's looking after it, and hopefully we're going to be able to hand it over to him as well. And he's just so accommodating and generous with his space and time, as to make the whole thing possible, really, because actually it wouldn't be. It's funny, isn't it? We've both gone on these journeys. And you look at the arc of to the UK as well. Yeah, I didn't actually realise that you were in Derby commuting to Oldenburg.
But I just wanted to pick up what you said about the people. The really nice thing is, all my Berlin fam, so to speak, they're all everyone's been super, super supportive. It's been awesome. My best, Daphne, I often talk to you about my friend Daphne. She's been super cool and super supportive, and it's been but everyone at the same time is when are you back in December then? Because I'm actually I'm back in December for 3 weeks. But actually what that means is I'm just based in Berlin for 3 weeks. Yeah. I'm still going to Oldenburg. I'm still going to Bamberg. I'm still doing loads of trips, but I'm just going to be based in Berlin for 3 weeks as opposed to being based in Derby. Yeah. It's quite interesting, because my friends here have also been equally as understanding. And they've been also just... I said to them, I'm back, but I'm also still going to Oldenburg, but I need a bit of time to settle. I've got all my friends in Nottingham, and I've hardly been in touch with them at all. I've seen people in London because I've passed through, and I've stayed over one night if the flight's late or if the whatever, and that's been really lovely. And they understand it as well, because they're also kind of travellers. The ones in Nottingham are. It's kind of strange, because on the surface maybe I think they don't understand, but then I've got these two best mates in Nottingham, Sarah and Nav. And they've, Sarah's originally from Birmingham, but then moved to Nottingham, and she's there with her kid and her husband. And Nab's from Radford, Nottingham. She's lived there her whole life. And they're both doing their thing. They're both awesome. They're both really good friends, totally radical and clever and all this stuff. But they're just there was a time when I thought they didn't understand, because sometimes they'd be like, "Where are you? What are you doing?" And then I realised that was just because they didn't know, not because they didn't understand. And then to them it makes sense. Oh, you've fallen in love with someone and you're really happy. That's great. Of course you want to be with them, and it's not such a big deal that place is no longer Berlin, But it's also not such a big deal that you've been in Derby for 3 weeks and we've not seen you. It's I quite like this sort of, there is this kind of unconditional love and acceptance that some of my friends have given me, and it's just that's just amazing. Yeah. That's what I've experienced anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
that's the good stuff. That's definitely the good stuff. I mean, because you need psychological space as much as you need physical stability or anything like that. I mean, that's the whole point of friendship, isn't it? Is to have understanding for each other and to give each other bandwidth and like weight.
But also, I think my motivation was maybe was a bit different to yours, because like my motivation was to be with my man, and also to cultivate a space of like love and care, but also to work. Like, he's built a desk for me, and like I'm working, like I'm getting loads of work done as well. Like, it's a time of rest and work and care, and that's what I wanted. And it's so nice that I've been able to do that here, because I had the operation, which I'll have to tell you about as well.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I was able to heal from that, and I was able to heal from it, I think, because I had so many structures of care set up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, also financial ones, like, you know, I was supposed to have this operation like 2 years ago, and I was still a freelancer then, and that's probably the reason why I was like dawdling with it a bit, because it's like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Whereas this, you know, contract job at the university, just like get a piece of paper from the hospital, sign it, send it to them. 3 weeks off sick, no problem.
Yeah.
4 weeks off sick, no problem. Oh, she's had an operation, great. It's like, it's just, so that's just one aspect. But then also having, you know, just, it's been really interesting. And I can hear now, which is insane.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's very interesting. So tell us, you had the operation on your ear, which is fitting, I guess, for a radio program, particularly. But wow, that's cool. I mean, there's a lot of, I also feel that it's a bit of a taking stock. Like, being in the UK is allowing me to take stock, not least because I'm not constantly processing the German language, which actually turns out took up quite a lot of bandwidth. And was like, you know, not even like for everything, but just the expectation of it. You know, I mean, obviously it's the freaking language, for Christ's sake, but like, just like knowing that, like, going through one thing, and I mean, still being able to speak German, which I only developed very, very late, like a year before I left, the capacity to really actually speak the language properly. So that's really funny for me. It's like, I'll go back and I'll be like, oh, I can talk with someone about this like fairly banal subject. Like, I couldn't go into like proper detail, but it's hilarious that that's still kind of embedded. But the health stuff is also like embedded. I mean, I realize now, as maybe you do as well, like
I just realised I wasn't recording. Sorry,
This meeting is being recorded.
But yeah, like, just the benefit of the German healthcare system really is just freaking hell. That's a contrast. And maybe I don't know if you want to talk about your experience. I'm assuming that you operated on in Germany. Is that right?
Yeah, of course. Everything was in German. Wow. Like, wow.
Yeah. So you can hear which ear, may I ask?
So, do you want me to tell you the whole story?
Yes.
So, my left ear. So, since about 2015, I was noticing that I couldn't really hear anything in my left ear. Like, I would do the test where I would like put a finger here and I'd be like, say something, and people would say stuff and I wouldn't be able to hear anything. So I went to the ear doctor, and they said, oh yeah, you've got an otosclerosal. And I was like, what's that? And they said it's like, you know, like something about like the bone is like rigid or calcified or something, and so it's not moving the way it should, and so it's preventing the conductivity. And so, and the first guy I went to was like, oh, come back next year and we'll see, but you should have it operated in a couple of years. And then I think I was just a bit like, oh, I don't want an operation. That's like the kind of thing you have as a kid when your parents decide for you and you don't have to take responsibility for it. So I didn't go to the doctors for ages. Then I went again in like 2007. And then the guy said exactly the same thing, and then started saying like, oh, think about operating. And then I just like ignored it for 3 years again, because that's what you do. That's what you do. Right. Yeah. You know,
it is, unfortunately, and I suffered from also doing that. Yeah.
And then I went to the doctors like at the beginning of 2020.
Yeah. And I got a second opinion. I went to a different woman, like a heart and and it was different. So bearing in mind, 5 years after the first diagnosis, so I went from like let's say early 30s to mid to late 30s, right, in that time. So I went from like 31 to 36 or something. And then the doctor was just like, she was so lovely, and she was just like, get it operated, do it, yes, come on, do it, yeah, you work in music, you're a music educator. This is before I had the job at the uni. You're a music educator, get it done, let's get it done. Like, here's your, and then she was like, here's the Überweisung, like here's the referral.
Oh wow, here's the slip.
That's the thing in Germany where you have to ring everyone yourself. That's what puts me on. Here's the thing. Here's your 2 weeks Krankenschein. And then I was like, as a freelancer, I was like, well, what the hell's that?
Yeah.
Of course, think I tried to call. I didn't even call. Or I called once or something, and then Corona hit. So I was like, well, I'm not going to do this now. And then I waited like a year after, 2021. I went again. I got a renewed referral. I called up. I made the appointment. I got the appointment to do it in like May 2021. I went and got the MRI on my head. Went and did this. Went and got the scan. All this stuff. And then like 2 weeks before everything, 2 weeks before the initial meeting, because you kind of like meet with them 2-3 months before to go through everything, and then you have the date. They just cancelled it. They said, sorry, it's cancelled. Call back in August or something to make a date. Did I call back in August? No, I didn't. I waited another year. And
really, you just didn't. Oh wow, that's back of the list syndrome. That's not good.
yeah, but I was just really put off by the whole thing. And then it was really interesting because during that time, it was like during Corona, everything was online. For me, I was lucky enough to still be able to work from online, and I was just like, oh, this is great because I can hear everything.
Right. It's all piped in.
This is great, you know.
Oh, man, that's great. So that's about the same time that we started doing off-air gems, more or less.
Gems, exactly.
The legends, the myth. But so that whole thing was going on the whole time in the background, and you never said anything.
About my ear hearing thing.
Don't think so. We have to go back and check the reference. I guess if it was piped in on the headphones, then maybe you would just whatever.
I wonder if it's because most of our meetings were like online. But no, we hung out because I can't.
All of them were. Yeah, well, we did one at the end in the studio, but every single other one was literally online. We started doing it online probably because of our schedules. And it's just like the only way we could organize it was like, how about in 20 minutes for 30 minutes? All right, yeah, let's do it. In fact, I think I just called you on the phone.
I like it. Today's the one today like a bit of a review, and then the next one can be a proper one. But no, so what happened was, so I finally got the appointment, and but bearing in mind, this is now 7 years later. So from 2015 to 2022, so I'm older. I'm literally older and wiser. I'm more confident with myself, my health. With myself, my health. Be confident with yourself and your health. And with the German healthcare system, with how to like advocate for myself in German. I don't just mean in terms of language, I mean in terms of character, the character you play when you're advocating yourself in German, right? Do you understand what I mean? Like the kind of like blasé confidence you have to be. Like you just like, oh yeah, no, I want this, I want this, of course, no, this is what I've been told, I'm doing this. Like this way that you have to be to get shit done in Germany. If you're not German or whatever, or if you're not privileged and stuff. And then I felt, and then I was just really like, this is going to get done. And so I went and did all the tests and like did all this, and then my date was set. And I have to tell you, I was shitting myself all summer because I had the opportunity to get a date like at the beginning of the summer, but then that would have like written off all my summer plans. So I thought, no, I want to like enjoy my holidays, enjoy my trips and everything. And so I did all this traveling, and then I had the operation like a week after, like 4 days after I got back from holiday or something like that. Not even 4 days, like maybe a week after. And it was, I was really nervous. I was so scared. Because they go into your ear, they had to cut open my ear. Do you want to know? They had to cut
I'm sure the listeners want to know.
They had to cut open my eardrum, and they went in, and you know the bone that's like the stirrup?
Yeah, kind of. I do have a map of the ear in my head,
The bone that's like a stirrup, they removed that bone.
What?
And replaced it with one made out of titanium.
Oh wow! So you're the person who got the metal implant after all that COVID paranoia stuff. It was you. You're the one who got the metal in their body. Wow. I mean, the obvious. I'm not going to say it. I just let everyone think it. There you go. Let the obvious joke pass. It's just going to pass.
What is the obvious joke?
Like if you can pick up radio waves.
Oh. It's titanium. I don't know if titanium can pick up radio waves.
That's cool. Do you have to say in airports that you've got this thing, or like does it show up in?
Basically, what happened was I couldn't track this in back to the plan. So me and Pedro had this plan. Like I'd already booked like these really cheap flights, from Bremen, which is very near to Oldenburg, to London. So we had this plan to see each other every week, and couldn't do the plan because I wasn't allowed to fly.
What? Because of the Operation Healing?
Yeah, they were just like, don't fly. You've got to. They were like 6 to 8 weeks, and then they were like
Pressure.
more
Yeah,
like
yeah,
9
yeah.
weeks, like be on the safe side.
That air pressure thing is real, man. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, because it needed to heal. And then like for a whole week, 2 weeks for 2 weeks I was like bandaged up like I'd had some major like cosmetic surgery or something. Which is better
Like
than
a war film.
I thought it was gonna be like full on like this. I thought it was gonna...
Yeah. Yeah, like the invisible woman.
But then we decided like, and then I was a bit like, hang on a minute, we kind of been building up for this whole period of autumn being together. So I just woke up one day and I was like, I just threw loads of money at Eurostar and trains. So actually, there was one time when I left the UK on Sunday at like 7 a.m. and I got to Oldenburg at 1 a.m. on the Monday morning after doing like train to London, Eurostar to Brussels, then Brussels all the way to Oldenburg. Yeah. And then I worked on the Monday, and then on the Tuesday I left at 10:30.
Fucking hell.
Got to London in the evening, stayed at my friend's house, and then came back the next day. But honestly, I get loads of work done on the train. It's good.
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird listening to myself say all this because I think if we'd have talked about it before the operation, I would have been like, Rrr. But it worked and it's good. And I realized how lucky and like privileged I am. I'm sounding like a bloody privileged person and doing all this stuff, but it's also one of the reasons why I've just taken on loads of extra jobs and why I'm just like working the whole time. It's like someone's got to pay for the travel fund.
Yes, and it's a journey, you know, and it's really nice. Like, I really appreciate you sharing that. It's really nice to have kind of an arc for someone going through something for a long period of time that, like, it's a big deal. I mean, it's your head, for Christ's sake. Like, you need the technology up there every day. You know, it's like having your hands operated on something. It's like it's not a small decision at all.
Let me say one more thing though.
Like when they took the bandage off, I went to the hospital with my friend because Pedro was back in the UK then. I went to the hospital with my friend and she drove me there and stuff, and it was really nice. And I don't know, I could hear, and it was incredible. Like I could actually hear. It was unreal, and I can obviously now hear better in this ear than I can in this ear. Because this ear was the otosclerosa, and my right ear was just like wear and tear, crap hearing.
Yeah, it's doing all the heavy lifting for all these years.
Exactly, and then that was another thing, you know. When I was doing all these tests this year in preparation for it, many times the doctors would be like, why don't you have a hearing aid on your right ear? Has no one suggested this to you? And then as soon as a doctor says to me, has no one suggested a hearing aid to you? I'm just like, no one has. Why has no one suggested that? And then you start asking yourself, is it my age? Is it because I'm brown? Is it because I'm called Mrs. Osman? Is it because I'm not German? Is it? And then also, when I went to the hospital and I met the surgeon was great. And you know, he's even said to me, like, he was like somebody from, I don't know, I read as an Iranian name, I don't know. He even said to me, he was really sweet. He was just like, this is going to be great. We're going to do the surgery. It's going to work really well on you. Like, everyone was really just like, it's going to work really well. And then even afterwards, little footnote, even afterwards, when they were taking the bandage off, they were like, that looks beautiful. They were literally, that is beautiful. Das ist wunderschön. So he actually said to me, like, did no one detect this when you were younger? Like, the condition?
Right.
And so then that made me do this whole big emotional thing of like, no one did detect it when I was younger, but I did remember having hearing problems. And I remember going to the hospital and going to the doctors and my mum saying, and my dad saying, like, she's got hearing problems. She can't hear. What was done, what was not done. So there's all these other stuff that came up for me as well.
Yeah.
It was pretty, that was
harsh. And I did a very good job. I hope I did a good job not asking my mum about it in a kind of antagonistic way, which is like, did you go to the hospital? Did you ask people? What did they say? Did they not let me? But so a lot of that stuff came up as well. But then I like Googled it a little bit, and obviously I found the one Google article that I chose to use, which was, you know, otosclerosis tends to worsen when people are in their 20s, and it tends to appear when people are in their 20s and gets very, very bad mid-30s. I'm like, great.
That's it then. Yeah.
But you know when people ask you that? Anyway, I'll stop for a sec.
Go. Wow. It's so interesting. The body is like the archive of the mind's experiences. And when you change stuff in the body, you end up dialing back to all this historical stuff that you've gone through. I find that really interesting. It's like a record that you carry around with you. Maybe that's from being in Germany too long, but it's also about changing systems and feeling that you're the one who's responsible for taking care of, you know, the collection of stuff that you are wandering around, which is as much about like your face cream and your yoga mat and everything else as it is about, you know, your emotional well-being and your financial capacity and your relationships with people. It's like this big bundle of stuff that you're just trying to get on the road, more or less. I mean, I feel like that regularly, that there's like me and then there's the body, and, you know, let's work together. Come on, man. Like, we've known each other for a really long time. Let's work together on this one because we both need each other. And that's like my whole MO at the moment. I've been like really trying to just focus on just saying like, look, I'll give you what you need, and then maybe I can go for a hike. Maybe one day I can go for a hike again. That would be so awesome. You know, I love going for a hike. It's been years since I can do that. But I don't want to bring it down on that level of like, you know, there's lots of things that one can do. But yeah, I think that healing the body through, like healing the mind through the body and vice versa, is something which you're maybe only able to focus on when you kind of change everything around you as well, because you get into these patterns, you know, and you get into these habits. And then it's like, even though you know some of them are destructive, or even if they're not, they're just not particularly helpful, they have their own logic, and it's comforting. You know, it's comforting to do things that are familiar. And if you change that, then you can see what you really needed and what you didn't need so much. That's going to be my postulation for the day.
It's cleverer than mine. I just talked about titanium bone. No, but
Man.
it's interesting what you just said, because and it's interesting actually now really talking about this change. That's kind of why, despite being quite busy, I really wanted to do it while we were both in the UK, because it's just it's geographic, symbolic, whatever you want to call it. But I noticed in Berlin, even before the operation, maybe before Corona, but maybe not. But I think definitely giving this opportunity to like do my research and do all this work, and like this work that's like really heavy stuff, like, you know, these interviews with these women and all the stuff, you know, transcribing these interviews takes a long time, because they're not just talking about the weather, they're talking about being victims of racism and sexism and all this stuff, right? And what I noticed is that my body was telling me I was ready to leave Berlin, actually, for a bit. My body was telling me, it's just the fact that I had this operation and then I was resting, and Berlin was the place of rest. I needed to rest. And I was just realizing that obviously not, and this doesn't include my friends who like came to visit and looked after me and all this stuff, but it just wasn't the place where I could rest. And that's one of the reasons why this move to being in Derby this move to being in Derby a bit more.
That's a legit sentence, isn't it?
Is what, sorry?
That sounds like a legitimate sentence.
Yeah.
Is it just the word Derby that's getting stuck in your teeth?
Yeah. The move to here was just was perfect, because it's a level of care and rest that I've not experienced before, and just allowing yourself to experience that is exactly what you said. Then you realize what worked before, what didn't work before. Like I eat dinner really early now. For example, I eat dinner by like 6 o'clock, because that's just the way it is. Just I eat at 6 o'clock, and then it's just like, wow, you know, what was I doing? What was I doing in Berlin? You know, all this time. It's just really interesting.
You know, we've done pretty good, Shanti. I mean, since you and me and your partner and Anna have moved back here or whatever, been here, we've managed to get through like 2 or 3 prime ministers, a monarch, like 4 chancellors, a lettuce, some tofu. No, we've done good. We're disruptors by nature.
mean, we disruptors. Just to be clear, I have not moved back.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Excellent.
Extended. It's not extended stay. That's too triggering, isn't it?
That's not that you're on death row.
Yeah. No. I don't know. Like what? I don't know what people are going to think of the show. I trust you to edit it down and chop it up and make it.
Oh no, I think it's good. I don't think we need to do much. We just have to shorten it a little bit, because we're going over time, sadly.
We can make it really clear that it's obviously not off-air gems per se, but it's off air gems. It's off air gems.
We should. I liked off air gems just because it was structured.
This is Alex and Shanti ear to ear.
Okay, good. This is ear to ear then. Well, this has been. Should we say this has been? This has been Alex and Shanti ear to ear.